They call us dust-off pilots, medevac, the guys who flew into hell to pull wounded soldiers out. They made movies about us, painted us as heroes, fearless, noble, saving lives against impossible odds. They weren't wrong, but they didn't show the whole truth either. My name is Chief Warrant Officer Robert Jake Sullivan. I'm 58 years old now. In 1968, I was 21 years old and flying a UH-1 Huey in Vietnam. Call sign Dustoff 23. I wasn't supposed to be a pilot, wasn't supposed to be in Vietnam. I was supposed to be in college, engineering degree, normal life. But I got drafted in 1967. Uncle Sam needed bodies. Vietnam was eating them faster than they could ship them over. I went through basic at Fort Benning. They tested everyone. Found out I had good spatial awareness, good reflexes, good under pressure. You ever think about being a pilot? The recruiter asked. Not really, I said. Well, the Army needs helicopter pilots. You qualify? You interested? I thought about it. Thought about being infantry, humping through jungles, getting shot at from the ground, dying in mud. Or I could fly, be above it, relatively safer. Yeah, I said, I'm interested. Biggest mistake of my life, or maybe the best decision, I still don't know. 40 years later, I still don't know. Flight school at Fort Wolters, then Fort Rucker. 6 months of training, learning to fly the Huey. Beautiful machine, powerful, responsive, could take a beating and keep flying. We needed that in Vietnam. We'd need every bit of that toughness. They gave us specialized training for medevac missions, landing in hot LZs, landing zones under fire, picking up wounded under combat conditions, flying low and fast, evading ground fire. They made it sound exciting, adventurous, like we'd be saving lives and dodging bullets like action heroes. They didn't tell us about the screaming, about the blood, about watching boys die in the back of your bird while you're trying to get them to a field hospital, about the guilt when you can't fit everyone and have to choose who gets saved first. They didn't tell us we'd be flying into hell every single day, multiple times a day. That the life expectancy of a medevac pilot in a hot zone was measured in weeks, not months. They didn't tell us a lot of things. I shipped out to Vietnam in February 1968, right into the Tet Offensive, the worst fighting of the war, the NVA and Viet Cong hitting everything at once, bases, cities, every position we had. Casualties were staggering, thousands of wounded, more coming in every hour. The medevac units were flying non-stop, around the clock, pilots and crews getting maybe 4 hours of sleep a night, then back up, back into it. I was assigned to the 57th Medical Detachment, based out of Bien Hoa. We flew UH-1H Hueys, red crosses painted on the sides, supposed to mark us as medical, supposed to make us off limits. The enemy didn't care. We were still American, still a target. The red crosses just made us easier to spot. My crew was 4 people, me as pilot, Chief Warrant Officer Mike Patterson as co-pilot, Specialist Danny Rodriguez as crew chief, and Specialist Tommy Nguyen, Vietnamese-American from California, as medic. Good guys, professional, experienced. Patterson had been in country for 6 months, Rodriguez and Nguyen even longer. They'd seen it all, done it all, and they were about to teach me how to survive it. My first mission was February 14th, 1968, Valentine's Day, though love was the last thing on anyone's mind in Vietnam. The call came at 0800. Dustoff 23, we have multiple casualties, priority urgent, grid coordinates. The radio operator rattled off the location. Somewhere west of Bien Hoa, near the Cambodian border. Hot LZ, I asked. Roger that. Taking fire, heavy contact. Patterson looked at me, saw the fear in my eyes. You ready for this? No, I said honestly. Good. That means you're not stupid. Let's go save some lives. We spun up, lifted off, headed west into the jungle, into the war, into the fire, into hell. And that first mission, that first time I brought wounded soldiers bleeding in the back of my helicopter, that's when I learned what Vietnam really was. Not a war, not a conflict, not some political struggle. Just blood and screaming and dying, and us trying desperately to save what we could. Knowing we couldn't save them all. Knowing some days we wouldn't save any of them, but trying anyway. Because that's what we did. That's who we were. Dust-off pilots, flying into hell, pulling out the wounded, watching them die anyway, over and over and over, for 12 months, 365 days, thousands of missions, until something inside us died, until we became something else, something that could function in that hell, something that could keep flying even after we'd lost our souls. That first mission on Valentine's Day, 1968. That's when it started. That's when I began dying. The flight out took 20 minutes. 20 minutes of flying low over jungle, following rivers and roads when we could, watching for ground fire, watching for everything. Patterson was on the radio, getting updates. The ground unit was pinned down, ambushed, multiple casualties, enemy fire from 3 sides. They needed extraction, needed it now. You ever land under fire before? Patterson asked me. Only in training, I said. Training doesn't count. Real bullets sound different, feel different. You'll know when they're shooting at you. How? You'll hear the pings, see the tracers, feel the helicopter shake when they hit, and you'll be more scared than you've ever been in your life. Great, I said. Don't worry. First time's always the worst. After that, it's just another day at work. He was wrong about that. It never became just another day. Every mission was the worst day. You just got better at functioning through it. We approached the LZ. I could see smoke. Purple smoke grenade marking the pickup zone. I could hear the firefight over the radio. M16S, AK-47s, machine guns, artillery in the distance. Dust off 2-3. This is Alpha 1-6. LZ is hot. Repeat, LZ is hot. We're taking heavy fire from the tree line west and north. Casualties are in the clearing. How copy? Roger, Alpha 1-6. We're coming in. Pop smoke? Another purple smoke grenade, confirming position, making sure we had the right spot. Enemy could pop smoke too, trick you into landing in a kill zone. Patterson took the controls. I'll take us in. You watch and learn. Next one's yours. We descended. Fast, steep approach. The ground rushing up. My stomach in my throat. Then I heard it. Pings. Metal on metal. Bullets hitting the helicopter. We're taking fire, Rodriguez shouted from the back. I know, Patterson yelled back. Hold on. We dropped into the clearing. Hard landing. Skids hitting dirt. The rotors still spinning. Downwash blowing dust and smoke everywhere. Go, 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 Patterson was screaming. Rodriguez and Nguyen jumped out, running toward the casualties. Soldiers were already running toward us, carrying wounded, dragging them, some crawling on their own. I could see them through the dust. Blood. So much blood. Uniforms soaked in it. Faces pale. Eyes wide with shock and pain. More pings. Bullets hitting us. One went through the canopy, right between Patterson and me. 6 inches to the left, and it would have taken his head off. Jesus Christ, I shouted. Stay calm. Keep the engine running. We're not staying long. Rodriguez and Nguyen were loading casualties, pulling them into the helicopter. The wounded were screaming. Some were silent, the bad ones. The ones too hurt to scream anymore. A soldier, couldn't have been more than 19, was being carried by 2 others. His leg was gone, just gone, below the knee, tourniquet around the thigh, blood everywhere. They loaded him. He was conscious, looking at me, at his leg that wasn't there anymore. Am I going to be okay? He asked, voice barely audible over the rotors. I didn't know what to say. Didn't know if he'd make it. Didn't know anything. Yeah, I lied. You're going to be fine. More casualties coming. 6 now. 7. The helicopter was designed for 6. We could fit more. Had to fit more. Couldn't leave anyone. That's it. That's all of them, someone was yelling. Negative, Rodriguez shouted. 2 more coming. Wait. 2 soldiers carrying a third. This one was bad. Gut shot. Intestines visible through his torn uniform. Face gray. Dying. They loaded him. 9 casualties now. The Huey was over capacity. Groaning. Heavy. We gotta go, Patterson yelled. We're overweight. 1 more second. Nguyen was working on the gut-shot soldier, trying to stabilize him, trying to keep his insides inside. Bullets everywhere now. The tree line was lit up with muzzle flashes. AK-47s, RPGs. One went over us. Close. Too close. We're leaving now. Patterson pulled pitch. The Huey struggled, fought to lift. Too heavy, too much weight. We rose slowly, agonizingly slowly. Every second exposed, every second being shot at. A burst of fire hit the tail section. I heard something break, felt the helicopter shudder. Tail rotors hit, I shouted. I know. We're still flying. Just get us out of here. We cleared the tree line, banking hard, low and fast, following the terrain. Bullets still chasing us, but falling behind. The clearing fell away. The firefight faded. We were out. We'd made it. In the back, the wounded were screaming, crying, begging for help. Rodriguez and Nguyen were working on them. Tourniquets, bandages, 4 lines, morphine, trying to keep them alive for the 15-minute flight to the field hospital. I looked back, saw the blood, saw the faces, saw the kid with no leg looking at me with empty eyes, saw the gut-shot soldier, already dead. And Nguyen was still working on him, but he was gone. Had probably died right after we loaded him. We'd risked everything, flew into hell, got shot to pieces, and he died anyway. Hospital in 5 minutes, Patterson said. Voice flat, professional. Like this was routine. Like we hadn't just nearly died. Like there wasn't a dead soldier in the back. We landed at the field hospital, the 93rd evac. Doctors and nurses were already running toward us. They'd been ready. They were always ready. They unloaded the casualties, fast, efficient, taking them straight to surgery, taking the dead one to the morgue. 8 survived long enough to get to the hospital. 1 didn't. And I didn't know if the 8 would survive surgery, would survive their wounds, would ever go home. We shut down, got out, looked at the helicopter. Bullet holes everywhere. 20, 30, maybe more. Tail rotor damaged. Fuselage riddled. Engine somehow still running. Rodriguez was hosing out the blood, just spraying it out the cargo door. Gallons of it. Literally gallons. Washing it away like it was oil or fuel. Just blood. Just part of the job. I stood there shaking, couldn't stop. Adrenaline crash, fear, horror, everything hitting at once. Patterson came over, put a hand on my shoulder. You did good, he said. We got them out. That's what matters. 1 died, I said. 1 out of 9. That's better than average. Some missions, they all die. This was a good day. A good day. We'd been shot at, nearly crashed. A soldier died in our helicopter, and this was a good day. How many more? I asked. What? How many more missions today? He checked his watch. It's only 9 o'clock. Probably 4 or 5 more before dark. Maybe more if it's busy. 4 or 5 more. 4 or 5 more trips into hell. 4 or 5 more times being shot at. 4 or 5 more loads of wounded and dying soldiers. And it was only my first day. Welcome to Vietnam, Patterson said. Welcome to Dust-Off. The radio crackled. Dustoff 2-3, we have a priority urgent medevac request. Multiple casualties. Heart LZ. How soon can you be airborne? Patterson looked at me. You ready? Number. I wasn't ready. Would never be ready. But the wounded couldn't wait for me to be ready. Yeah, I said. Let's go. We climbed back in, spun up, lifted off, back into it, back into the war, back into the blood and screaming and dying. My first mission was over. My second was beginning. And there would be hundreds more, thousands more. All the same, all different, all terrible. That was February 14th, 1968. I had 351 days left in country. 351 days of this, I wouldn't survive them. Not really. The Jake Sullivan who flew that first mission, he died somewhere along the way. Probably in the first month. Maybe the first week. What finished the year was something else. Something that could fly through hell and not break. Something that could watch soldiers die and keep going. Something that wasn't quite human anymore. But that was still to come. For now we flew, always flying, always saving, always losing, always... The first month was the worst. Or maybe it was the second month, or the third. They all blurred together, all terrible in their own ways. We flew 6 to 8 missions a day, sometimes more during heavy fighting. Sometimes we'd be in the air for 12 hours straight. Land, refuel, pick up more wounded, repeat. The casualties never stopped, never slowed. Always more wounded, always more dying. Always more boys who'd never see home again. You learn to recognize the bad ones immediately. The gut shots, the head wounds, the ones missing limbs, the ones who were gray, who were already dying and just didn't know it yet. Those were the hardest, loading them, flying them, watching them fade during the flight, knowing they wouldn't make it, knowing you were just flying a corpse to the hospital. But you did it anyway, because maybe you were wrong. Maybe they'd survive. Maybe the doctors could work a miracle. They usually couldn't. On February 28th, 2 weeks into my tour, we got a call. Mass casualty situation. Platoon hit by mortar fire. 20 casualties, maybe more. We landed in a rice paddy. Water up to the skids. The wounded were everywhere, spread across the paddy. Some floating in the water, some being dragged by their buddies. We loaded as many as we could, 14, way over capacity. The helicopter was struggling, could barely lift. One soldier, PFC Marcus Johnson from Detroit, he was gut shot, shrapnel from a mortar. His insides were destroyed, and Nguyen was working on him, doing everything he could. Johnson was conscious, looking at me. He knew. I could see it in his eyes. He knew he was dying. Tell my mom, he said, blood on his lips. Tell her I love her. Tell her I tried. You tell her yourself, I said. You're gonna make it. He smiled, weak, sad, like he appreciated the lie, but knew better. He died 3 minutes from the hospital, just stopped breathing, stopped fighting, let go. Nguyen kept working on him, compressions, breathing, everything. But he was gone. We landed, unloaded, 13 survivors, 1 dead. Johnson's body went to the morgue. Just another number, just another KIA, just another mother who'd get a telegram and a flag. I threw up behind the helicopter. Couldn't help it. The accumulation of it all. 2 weeks of blood and death and screaming, it all came up. Rodriguez found me, didn't say anything, just stood there while I emptied my guts. When I was done, he handed me water. Gets easier, he said. Does it? He thought about it. No, but you get better at hiding it. By March, I'd stopped counting missions, stopped counting casualties, stopped counting the dead. The numbers were too big, too overwhelming. We just flew. Mission after mission, day after day, pulling wounded out of hell, watching some die, hoping some lived. The helicopter took a beating. We'd get shot up, land at base. Maintenance would patch the holes, replace damaged parts, send us back out. We went through 3 tail rotors in March, 2 main rotor blades, countless hydraulic lines. Engine had to be replaced twice. But we kept flying, because the wounded kept coming, and medevac pilots didn't have the luxury of standing down. On March 15th, we lost our first crew member. We were extracting wounded from a hot LZ in the Central Highlands. Heavy fire, RPGs, machine guns, everything. We were loading casualties when an RPG hit near us. The blast threw Rodriguez against the helicopter. Shrapnel tore through his chest. He went down. Nguyen grabbed him, pulled him inside, started working on him. "We gotta go, now," Patterson was yelling. I pulled pitch. We lifted, still taking fire. Rodriguez was bleeding in the back, our crew chief, our brother. Nguyen was trying to save him, trying everything. But the shrapnel had hit his heart, his lungs, everything vital. Rodriguez died before we reached the hospital. Died in the helicopter he'd maintained. Died saving other people's lives. 22 years old. From San Antonio. 3 months left on his tour. They gave him a Bronze Star, posthumous. Sent it to his family with his body. We got a new crew chief the next day. Specialist Kevin O'Brien. Good kid. 19 years old. Terrified. "Don't get attached," Patterson told him. "Do your job. Keep your head down. Maybe you'll survive." Cold words, but true words. Getting attached in Vietnam was a death sentence. You'd just lose them anyway. By April, I'd developed a routine, a way to cope, a way to function. Don't look at faces. Just treat them as cargo, bodies to transport, problems to solve. Don't learn names. Don't talk to them. Don't engage. Just fly, just save, just move to the next one. It worked, sort of. Let me function. Let me keep flying. Let me survive. But it turned me into something else, something cold, something that could load a 19-year-old with his legs blown off and not feel anything, not think about his family, his future, his dreams. Just calculate weight, check vitals, determine priority, load, fly, unload, repeat. I became a machine, just like the helicopter I flew. The nightmares started in April. Every night, same dreams, faces of the wounded. Rodriguez dying in the back. Johnson asking me to tell his mother. The kid with no leg looking at me with empty eyes. I'd wake up screaming. The other pilots in my hooch understood. They had the same dreams. We all did. We'd drink to sleep. Whiskey mostly. Whatever we could get. Drink until the dreams couldn't reach us. Until we were numb enough to rest. Then wake up, fly, watch more people die, drink again, repeat. That was life. That was Vietnam. That was dust off. On April 27th, we had our worst day. Multiple firefights across the province, casualties everywhere. We flew 12 missions, 12 times into hell, 12 times loaded with wounded. We pulled out 47 casualties that day. 17 died. 30 survived to reach the hospital. Don't know how many survived surgery. 17 dead in one day. 17 boys who'd never go home. 17 families who'd get telegrams. And all I felt was tired, just exhausted. Not sad, not angry, not anything. Just tired. That's when I knew. Knew I'd changed. Knew Vietnam had killed something inside me. The part that felt, the part that cared, the part that was human. It was gone. Burned away by blood and death and endless screaming. What was left was just a pilot, just hands on controls, Just someone who could fly into hell and pull out the wounded without breaking, without feeling, without being human anymore. By May, I'd been in country for 3 months. Felt like 3 years, 3 decades. I was 21 years old, looked 30, felt 60, and I had 9 months left. 9 more months of this. 9 more months of dying slowly. 9 more months of becoming less human with every mission. I didn't think I'd survive it. Not physically. Plenty of medevac pilots got shot down, died. But mentally, emotionally, spiritually. I didn't think there'd be anything left by the end. I was right about that. By the time I left Vietnam, there wasn't anything left. Just an empty shell. Just something that looked like Jake Sullivan, but wasn't. The real Jake Sullivan died somewhere over the jungles of Vietnam in 1968. What came home in 1969 was just a ghost learning to pretend it was alive. Summer in Vietnam, hot, humid, miserable. The monsoons came and went. Rain so heavy you could barely see. We flew anyway. The casualties didn't stop for weather. The war didn't pause because it was raining. We just flew lower, followed rivers and roads, hoped we didn't fly into a mountain, hoped the engine didn't quit, hoped the enemy couldn't see us through the rain. Hope was all we had, and even that was running thin. Patterson got shot in June. We were on approach to a hot LZ. Machine gun fire raked the cockpit. Rounds came through the windscreen. One caught Patterson in the shoulder, another in the leg. He kept flying, kept the helicopter steady, got us to the LZ. We loaded the wounded. He flew us back to base. Only when we landed did he let himself acknowledge the pain, let the medics take him. "I'll be back in a few days," he said as they carried him off, blood soaking through the bandages. "Don't crash my helicopter." He was back in 3 weeks. Shoulder still healing, leg still stiff, but he couldn't stay away. Too many wounded, too few pilots. That was Vietnam. You flew until you died, or until you were wounded so bad you couldn't fly anymore. And even then, you came back as soon as you could, because the alternative was leaving it to someone else, leaving your crew, leaving the wounded. And none of us could do that. My new co-pilot, while Patterson recovered, was Warrant Officer First Class Tom Mitchell, 30 years old. Ancient by Vietnam standards, on his second tour. "Why'd you come back?" I asked him. He thought about it. "Because someone has to. Because these boys deserve a chance. Because I can't not come back." I understood. It made no sense, but I understood perfectly. We flew together for 3 weeks. Good pilot. Calm. Professional. Taught me things Patterson hadn't. Tricks for landing in tight LZs. Ways to read the terrain. How to know when you were about to get hit. "You feel it," he said. "Right before they fire, you feel the target on your back. The hairs stand up. You just know." He was right. I learned to feel it. That moment before the bullets came. That instant of knowing you were in someone's crosshairs. Sometimes you could react. Bank hard, drop low, get out of the way. Sometimes you couldn't. Sometimes the bullets were already coming. On July 4th, Independence Day, we got hit bad. SAM site we didn't know about. Surface-to-air missile. Locked onto us during an extraction. We saw it launch, saw it coming, couldn't outrun it, couldn't evade. It missed by maybe 10 feet. Proximity fuse didn't trigger. It went right past us and exploded in the trees. The shock wave nearly knocked us out of the sky. Controls went crazy. Hydraulics failing, engine coughing. Mitchell fought with it, fought to keep us airborne. We had 8 wounded on board. Going down meant killing all of them. He got us to the hospital, barely. The helicopter was destroyed, smoking, shaking apart. We landed hard, collapsed the landing skids. But we landed. Everyone survived, the wounded, the crew, all of us. We climbed out and looked at the Huey. It would never fly again. Too damaged. Beyond repair. Well, Mitchell said, that's 2 of my 9 lives gone. He was wrong. It was his last one. He just didn't know it yet. 3 days later, he was flying a different bird, different crew. Another hot extraction. They got shot down, all 4 killed. The helicopter exploded on impact. There was nothing left to recover. Mitchell's second tour ended on July 7th, 1968, 30 years old, 3 days after he'd saved my life and 8 wounded soldiers. I went to his memorial service, watched them stack his boots and helmet and rifle, heard the chaplain say words that didn't mean anything, words that couldn't capture what we'd lost. Another good pilot gone, another brother dead, another name to carry. Patterson came back the next day, heard about Mitchell, didn't say anything, just nodded, added him to the list we all carried, the list of the dead, the ones who didn't make it, the ones we flew with and fought with and lost. By August, my crew had changed completely. Rodriguez dead, Patterson wounded. O'Brien, our new crew chief, he'd been wounded too, shrapnel to the arm, evacuated, replaced. Nguyen was the only constant, still there, still the medic, still trying to save everyone who came into our helicopter. He was quieter now, harder. The cheerful Vietnamese-American kid from California was gone. What was left was something mechanical, something that could work on destroyed bodies without flinching, without feeling. We were all like that by then, all of us who'd survived, all of us who'd seen too much, done too much, carried too much. We were the walking dead, the ones who'd died but kept flying, kept functioning, kept doing the job. The missions blurred together, one after another. Hot LZ after hot LZ, wounded after wounded, dead after dead. I stopped remembering them individually. They became numbers, statistics, weight calculations. 4 casualties, 2 urgent, 2 priority. Can we fit all 4? Negative. Too heavy. Take the urgents. Come back for the priorities. Cold math. Cold decisions. But necessary. You couldn't save everyone. Had to save who you could. Had to make choices. Had to live with those choices afterward. By September, I'd been in country for 7 months. Had about 5 months left. The end was in sight, but still impossibly far. 5 more months of this. 5 more months of blood and death and screaming. 5 more months of dying slowly, of becoming less human, of losing more pieces of myself until there was nothing left. I'd survived 7 months. I'd flown over 600 missions. I'd pulled out over 1,500 casualties. I'd watched at least 200 die. 200 faces I'd never forget. 200 boys I couldn't save. 200 failures I carried every day. The Army sent me a medal. Distinguished Flying Cross. For valor. For flying into hostile fire. For saving lives. I threw it in a drawer. Didn't want it. Didn't deserve it. Not when so many died. Not when I'd become something that could watch them die without feeling anything. Patterson got one, too. Air Medal with V device, Valor. You keeping yours? I asked him. Yeah, he said. Not for me. For Rodriguez. For Mitchell. For all the ones who didn't make it. Someone needs to remember them. He was right. Someone needed to remember. Even if remembering hurt, even if carrying them destroyed us. Someone had to remember that they lived, that they tried, that they died in a war nobody would remember in a country nobody cared about. So we remembered, even though it killed us to do it. October came, November. The monsoons returned, the fighting intensified, the casualties mounted. We flew, we saved, we lost, we carried on. That was all we could do, all we had left. Just keep flying, just keep trying, just keep dying slowly, until our year was up. until we could leave. Until we could take our ghosts home with us and try to figure out how to live with them, if living was even possible anymore. December 15th, 1968. 10 months into my tour. 60 days left in country. That was the day I broke, really broke. The day the machine I'd become finally cracked apart. We got a call at 0600, priority urgent medevac, multiple casualties, hot LZ in the A Shau Valley. One of the worst areas in Vietnam, enemy everywhere, dense jungle, mountains, no good approaches. Dust off 2-3, be advised, LZ is extremely hot. Ground unit is being overrun, multiple urgent surgical, time is critical. Roger that, we're inbound. Patterson looked at me. We both knew. The A Shau was a death trap. Half the helicopters that went in there didn't come out. But we went anyway, because that's what we did. The flight took 30 minutes. 30 minutes of flying through valleys, watching the mountains close in, knowing we were heading into hell. We could hear the battle over the radio. It was bad, real bad. The unit was cut off, surrounded, taking heavy casualties. They needed extraction, needed it now. We approached the LZ. I could see it. Small clearing, maybe 40 yards across, surrounded by jungle, surrounded by enemy. Tracers were coming up, lots of them. Green tracers, NVA, red tracers, our guys. The whole valley was on fire. Jesus Christ, Patterson said. That's a kill zone. We have to go in, I said. They're dying down there. We'll be dying with them if we land in that. He was right. But what choice did we have? Leave them? Let them die because it was too dangerous? We couldn't do that. We'd never done that. We wouldn't start now. We're going in, I said. Patterson nodded. Your controls. I'll work the radios. Get in fast. Get out faster. I took us down. Steep approach. Fast. The tracers were everywhere. I could hear rounds hitting us, pinging off the fuselage, cracking through the rotors. We landed hard. The skids hit dirt. Immediately, soldiers were running toward us, carrying wounded, dragging them. Nguyen and our new crew chief, Specialist Mike Harris, jumped out, started loading. The wounded were bad, real bad, missing limbs, gut shots, head wounds, the kind that usually died before reaching the hospital. Load them. Load them all, I was shouting, even though I couldn't hear myself over the rotors and gunfire. A sergeant was helping load. Blood all over him. Not his blood. His men's blood. We got more, he was yelling. We got 6 more critical. You gotta come back. We'll come back, I yelled. Get these guys loaded. 5 casualties aboard. 6, 7. The helicopter was shaking. Too heavy. Way too heavy. An RPG went over us. Exploded in the trees. Too close. We gotta go now, Patterson was screaming. 1 more! Loading 1 more! They pulled him aboard. 8 casualties. The Huey was groaning. The engine screaming. Overweight. Dangerously overweight. But I pulled pitch anyway. We lifted. Barely. Clawing for altitude. Every foot gained felt impossible. We cleared the trees. Barely. I heard branches scraping the skids. Heard more rounds hitting us. Then I heard the alarm. Master caution. Something was wrong. Engine fire, Patterson yelled. We're on fire. I looked at the gauges. Engine temperature spiking. Oil pressure dropping. We were losing power. We're not going to make it to the hospital, Patterson said. We need to set down. Now. We've got 8 urgents on board. If we land, they die. If we crash, we all die. He was right. The helicopter was dying. Burning. Falling apart. We had maybe 2 minutes before the engine seized or the fire spread or we just fell out of the sky. The hospital was 10 minutes away. We'd never make it. But I tried anyway. Pushed the engine. Pushed the helicopter. Pushed everything beyond limits. Come on, I was saying, talking to the Huey, begging it. Come on, just a little more. Just get us there. The engine was screaming, shaking. I could smell smoke. Could see it coming through the vents. Behind me, Nguyen was working frantically. 8 casualties. Multiple urgents. He couldn't save them all. Couldn't even stabilize them all. Just doing what he could. Trying to keep them alive long enough to reach the hospital. If we reached the hospital. 5 minutes. We'd been flying 5 minutes. Engine temperature in the red. Oil pressure almost 0. The helicopter shaking so bad I thought it would come apart. "Jake, we're not going to make it," Patterson said. "We need to set down, find a clearing, put it down before we crash." "No, we keep going. We get them to the hospital. We're going to kill everyone on board. They're already dying. This is their only chance." I kept flying, kept pushing, kept willing the helicopter to stay in the air. 6 minutes. 7. The engine was seizing. I could feel it dying, feel us falling. The hospital appeared ahead. I could see it. The landing pad, the medical staff waiting. "Mayday, Mayday," Patterson was on the radio. "Dust off 2-3, engine fire, coming in emergency, clear the pad." We crossed the perimeter, over the hospital. The engine was gone. No power. We were gliding, falling with style. I aimed for the pad, flared. The Huey dropped, hit hard, collapsed the landing gear, skidded across the tarmac, came to a stop. Get out, I was yelling. "Fire, everyone out!" The medical staff was already there, pulling casualties out, pulling us out, fire extinguishers spraying. We got everyone out. All 8 casualties, the crew, all of us. The helicopter burned, the engine caught fire, spread. Within minutes, the whole bird was engulfed. Dust off 2-3 was gone, destroyed. We'd pushed it too far, killed it trying to save 8 soldiers. I stood there watching it burn, watching thousands of hours of flight time go up in flames, watching the machine that had saved hundreds of lives die. And I couldn't feel anything, just numb, just empty. They took the casualties to surgery, all 8. I watched them wheel them away. 4 survived surgery, 4 died on the table, 4 out of 8. 50%, better than average. That's what Patterson would have said. But I'd killed the helicopter for those 4. Risked all our lives, nearly crashed, nearly killed everyone. For 4 survivors, and 4 dead anyway. Was it worth it? I didn't know. Couldn't process it, couldn't think about it. They took me to debriefing, asked what happened. I told them. Engine fire, emergency landing, total loss of aircraft. "You did good, Chief," the commander said. "You got them out, got your crew out. Lost the bird, but saved the lives. That's what matters." I nodded, said thank you, walked out, found a quiet spot behind the hangar, and I broke, just collapsed, fell to my knees, started crying, couldn't stop, couldn't breathe, couldn't function. 10 months of it, 10 months of blood and death and screaming, 10 months of watching boys die, 10 months of being a machine, of not feeling, of not being human. And it all came crashing down, all at once, the weight of it, the horror of it, the impossibility of it. Rodriguez, Mitchell, Johnson, the kid with no leg, the gut-shot soldier, the 4 who died on the table today, all of them, all the dead, all the ones I couldn't save. They were crushing me, drowning me, killing me, and Patterson found me. Sat down next to me. Didn't say anything. Just sat there while I broke apart. "I can't do this anymore," I finally said. "I can't keep doing this." "I know," he said. 4 died today. 4. And I killed a helicopter trying to save them. And they died anyway. 4 lived. Because of you. Because of what you did. And how many more will die tomorrow? How many more can I save before I break completely? before I kill myself trying. Patterson was quiet for a long time. I don't know, he said finally. None of us know. We just keep going, keep flying, keep trying, until we can't anymore. I can't anymore. Yeah, you can, because there's no one else. Because if we stop, they die alone, all of them. He was right. I hated that he was right, but he was. I couldn't stop, couldn't quit. Not with 60 days left, not with hundreds of wounded still coming, not with my crew depending on me. So I got up, wiped my face, pulled myself together. We'll get a new bird tomorrow, Patterson said. Different tail number, same mission. Yeah, I said. We walked back to the hooch, drank until we couldn't feel anything, until the dead stopped screaming, until we could pretend to sleep. Tomorrow we'd fly again, back into hell, back into the blood and death and screaming, because that's what dust-off pilots did. We flew until we died, or until we broke completely, or until our year was up. I had 60 days left, 60 days to survive, 60 days of dying slowly, and then maybe I could go home. If there was anything left to go home with, if there was anything left at all. There wasn't much left. Turns out, it's 2005. I'm 58 years old, 37 years since Vietnam, 37 years since I flew my last medevac mission. And I'm still there. Still flying. Still hearing the screams. Still watching them die. Every night, every single night for 37 years. I left Vietnam in February 1969. Exactly 1 year after I arrived. 365 days. Over 800 missions. Over 2,000 casualties evacuated. Over 300 dead. 300 boys I couldn't save. 300 faces I still see. They threw a party when I left. Short-timer party. You made it, they said. You survived. I smiled, drank, accepted congratulations, got on the Freedom Bird home, but I hadn't survived. Not really. The Jake Sullivan who landed in San Francisco wasn't the same one who left a year earlier. That one was dead, died somewhere over the jungles, probably around March, maybe April, somewhere in the endless missions and blood and death. What came home was something else, something that looked like me, sounded like me, but wasn't me anymore. My family met me at the airport. My parents, my sister, they hugged me, cried, said they were so happy I was home. I felt nothing, just empty, hollow, like there was nothing inside me but echoes and ghosts. Are you okay? My mother asked, looking at my face, seeing something wrong. Fine, I said, just tired. First lie of many, I'd tell them. I tried to adjust, tried to be normal, got a job, went to work, did the things you're supposed to do. But I couldn't connect, couldn't engage. Everything felt distant, unreal, like I was watching my life through glass. The real world was Vietnam, the rotors and gunfire and blood. This peaceful life, this was the dream, the illusion. The nightmares started immediately. Every night I was back there, flying, loading casualties, watching them die. Rodriguez bleeding out, Mitchell's helicopter exploding, the 4 on the table who died anyway. I'd wake up screaming, thrashing. My roommate, another vet, he understood. He had his own nightmares, his own ghosts. We'd drink together, late at night, when the dreams were too much, when the memories wouldn't stop. Does it get better? He asked me once. I don't know, I said. Let me know when you find out. He killed himself in 1972. Shotgun. Couldn't carry it anymore. Couldn't live with what Vietnam had done to him. At his funeral, I thought about joining him, thought about how easy it would be, how peaceful. But I didn't. I had a responsibility to the dead, to Rodriguez and Mitchell and all the others. Someone had to remember them. Someone had to carry them, even if carrying them was killing me. I got married in 1975. Good woman. Linda, patient, understanding. Tried to reach me, tried to help. But I couldn't let her in, couldn't let anyone in. The walls I'd built in Vietnam to survive, to function, they wouldn't come down. We had a daughter in 1977, Sarah, beautiful, perfect. And I couldn't feel anything about her, couldn't connect, couldn't be the father she deserved. Because being a father meant feeling, meant caring, meant being vulnerable. And I'd learned in Vietnam that caring killed you. That feeling meant breaking. So I stayed numb, stayed distant, stayed safe behind the walls. Linda left in 1982, took Sarah with her. I didn't fight it. They deserved better. Deserved someone who could feel, who could love, who could be present. I wasn't that person, would never be that person again. I see Sarah occasionally. She's 28 now. Has a good life. Good job. Doesn't need me. Never really knew me. Better that way. Better she has a father-shaped absence than a father-shaped ghost. I worked various jobs over the years. Couldn't fly commercially. PTSD made me unsuitable. Tried office work, warehouse work, security, anything to pay bills and fill time. Never lasted long anywhere. The nightmares affected my work. The drinking affected my work. The inability to connect with people affected my work. By the 90s, I was on disability. PTSD, severe, chronic, permanent. The VA tried to help. Therapy, support groups, medication, tried everything. Nothing worked. Nothing could reach the part of me that died in Vietnam. Nothing could bring it back. I went to a helicopter pilot support group once, Vietnam veterans. All of us had flown. All of us carried the same ghosts. One guy, medevac pilot like me, he talked about a mission where he'd loaded 15 casualties, overweight, barely got airborne, made it to the hospital. 12 survived. Best day of my tour, he said, smiling, proud. I walked out, couldn't stay. Because I remembered different numbers, remembered the ones who died, not the ones who lived. Couldn't celebrate 12 saved when 3 died. Couldn't smile about it. Couldn't be proud. Could only carry the 3, add them to the list, to the weight. I tried to find Patterson once, mid-90s. Tracked him down through veteran records. He was in Oregon, living alone, disability, same as me. We talked on the phone. Awkward at first, then easier, remembering missions, remembering the crew, remembering the dead. You still dream about it? I asked. Every night, he said. Rodriguez, Mitchell, all of them, every single night. Does it ever stop? Long pause. No, it never stops. We're still there, Jake. We never left. He was right. We never left. Part of us is still there, still flying, still loading wounded, still watching them die, forever. Patterson died in 2001. Heart attack. The VA said it was unrelated to his service. I knew better. Vietnam killed him. Just took 33 years to finish the job. I'm 58 now, living alone in a small apartment in California, surviving on disability and memories and ghosts. I haven't been in a helicopter since 1969. Can't. The sound of rotors, it takes me right back to the missions, to the blood, to the screaming. I avoid them, avoid anything that reminds me, which is everything, which is why I don't go out much, just stay in my apartment with my memories, with my ghosts, with the 300 boys I couldn't save. They're with me always. Rodriguez asking me to tell his family. Mitchell saving my life 3 days before he died. Johnson asking me to tell his mother. the 4 on the table, the kid with no leg, all of them. I'm still trying to save them. Still flying those missions. Still hoping that maybe this time, I'll get them all out alive. But I never do. I never could. I never will. That's what Vietnam did to us, to all of us dust-off pilots. It turned us into ghosts, into machines that kept flying long after we should have stopped, long after we died. We saved thousands. The records show that. The medals prove it. The statistics are impressive. But we remember the ones we couldn't save, the ones who died, the ones we left behind. Those are the ones that matter. Those are the ones we carry. Those are the ones that killed us. I'm not proud of my service. People expect me to be. Thank you for your service. You must be so proud. You saved so many lives. I nod. Say thank you. Don't tell them the truth. That I'm not proud, that I'm haunted, that I'd give anything to have saved the ones I lost, to have flown better, faster, to have made different choices, to have brought them all home. But I couldn't, and that failure, that inability to save everyone, it destroyed me. 37 years later, I'm still destroyed, still broken, still trying to save boys who died in 1968. Still flying missions that ended decades ago, still hearing the rotors, still hearing the screams, still hearing Rodriguez dying in the back, still hearing the engine fire alarm, still hearing dust-off 2-3, priority urgent medevac, how copy? Still responding, still flying, still trying, always trying and never succeeding, never stopping, because that's what dust-off pilots do. We fly until we die. And even after we die, we keep flying. We never come home. We never land. We never shut down. We just keep flying. Through decades. Through nightmares. Through whatever's left of our lives. Always in the air. Always over the jungle. Always loading wounded. Always losing them. Forever. I'm 58 years old. I've been home for 37 years. But I'm not home. I'm still there. Still in Vietnam. Still in 1968. Still 21 years old and terrified and trying to save boys who are already dead. Still dying myself. One day at a time, one night at a time, one mission at a time. Until my body finally catches up with what happened to my soul in 1968. Until I finally stop flying. Until I finally crash. Maybe then I'll find peace. Maybe then the rotors will stop. Maybe then the screaming will end. Or maybe I'll just keep flying, even in death, even beyond. A ghost in a ghost helicopter, flying ghost missions, saving ghost soldiers, forever over the jungles of Vietnam, forever dust off 2-3, forever, always flying.